Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Heart of Fire 4 the New Order. Don't serve, let's continue on for Last of Us. So we're meeting up with the ANC. Right now we're trying to meet up with the Americans just so that we can maybe somewhat control some fuel issues that we do have in the country. We have increased our GDP by about $1 billion though, so that seems pretty good. Gonna get some more doctrines. And if we have 40 diamonds. Well, what are the expensive ones? Expanded diamond mines. We've already talked to the ANC, so we can't do that. We can subsidize some farms. One more thing. I don't think it actually helps us too much. Let's buy some packed research. How many guns do we have? We have enough rifles. Okay, so the rifle situation has kind of resolved itself. We do need more political power because I would like to probably do some other stuff here. I mean, recon would be nice as well. We need to really just know what these guys up here are doing. 50%. Like, the Germans will be extremely mad if I ask the Americans just to station troops here. But you know what? Right now, let's just develop the roads. Subsidize the farm. So does this extra thing last for a month? I'm not too sure. We have one more factory. We can use that to just trade. Get like one more steel. We also need some tungsten. What do we need tungsten for? Probably for tanks, right? Aluminum, rubber. Oh, we have one factory constructing. That's going to take until 1973. Waiting 11 years for a single factory probably is not worth it. So let's trade with Iberia. Get one factory here. Yeah, I know we're not going to be able to construct anything, but I really don't feel like I have a choice. I feel like I immediately lost two factories. One military factory from occupation, two civilian factories from occupation. Which I assume is going to go away at some point. Okay, so I reassured the Americans. A refinery. So we're losing less fuel. We're not gaining any, but we're losing less. We reassured the Germans. We get 500 weapons. Rebuffs their diplomats. Why would I want to do this? That's bet the USA and the Reich both made us try to join their alliances. We gain 5 extra diamonds. Well, let's weaken the radicals first, because that doesn't have any negative penalties right now. As far as I can tell, there's no penalties. There might be in the future. So when is the 16 diamonds? I can't fund orange militias because we're talking to the ANC, which makes perfect sense. It's like, I would like... I want the Americans to help us out. I think this only boosted up by like 2%. Which isn't insanely high. Did I actually say when the referendum happens? No, I think you are just... You probably just make it happen, this event right here. Or the winter change. It's somewhere in here. I'm just not too sure which one it actually is. Or do we want to not even worry about the votes right now and just try to get as much supporting from the CIA as possible? That might be the better play. Flamethrower 2. 500-day research time. Probably a little bit too much. We could use some better artillery, though. No, we can't. We can actually, you know what? We can get line artillery 90 days. A little bit of a boost there is not too bad. We weakened the radicals. Let's release some political prisoners. And the winds of change. Please, I'm just trying to look here for a second. So we replace medium... So we go with high taxes. We get good pensions. We less support for the monarchy. And then we got a bunch of other stuff here that we can eventually look through as well. So watching the Murray Bay Road. Under the solitary confinement, he was strictly prevented from being near or talking to any other prisoners on Robert Island. Robert Subakwe had to rally the mirrors and coded hand signals to maintain contact with his followers in the Pan-African Congress. Through which he told them to keep their beliefs in hardline socialist principles and South Africa without non-Africans. Recently, however, the guards have approached him with an offer saying that the PAC would be unbanned and released if he was to renounce violence as a political tool. To help persuade him, they allowed him to discuss with other PAC prisoners and told Subakwe that the ANC had signed a deal and had left the island. Many wanted to take the deal and leave the prison, but Subakwe stood firm. Be no cooperation with the government, he decided, as he observed his comrades in the PAC marching past him with the rest of the prisoners. He reflected on his decision and knew that they would have to stay steadfast if they were to finally achieve victory. Then came the shock of his life. A prisoner in the middle of the group raised his hand. Several PAC prisoners were suddenly grabbed by the prisoners behind them, covering their mouths so they could not be heard. Then out came the shivs, piece of glass with cloth wrapped around the handle. Jaw agape, he watched his comrades go down in a fury of static kicks. He suddenly started to yell, but none of what made a difference to the sudden orgy of violence that was transpiring outside of his residence. And he realized in horror that the assailants were PAC members as well, the moderate ones who wanted to leave, and the victims were the ones who stood by him. Who did this, Subakwe wondered? Did the ANC infiltrate the PAC? Was somebody making a play for party leader? Why aren't the guards watching this? Did the government want this to happen? So fixated was Subakwe in the inter-party queue in his hand meter that he failed to notice that 3 prisoners had climbed over his fence behind him. He who lives by the sword. So apparently the PAC just do not exist anymore. They've all been stabbed, Breaking Bad style. We got SOG advisors. So I think you're just like permanent, which is nice. Civilian expenditures, military expenditures, the national debt. Measured at 1960 US dollars. The debt has gone slightly worse, but honestly, it still could be worse. We have 40 diamonds. Let's develop Orange. Let's attract packed business. We're at 18%. I just need people to support me. Or I need stuff. I just need things. Because now we actually need more steel again. Yes, I will. I know I won't have anything. The last afternoon, as we're returning to our lime quarry, the guards started to slinging out the ANC prisoners and had assembled us in the courtyard. None of us knew what was happening. The rumor of a meeting between Tam and the Prime Minister Graf came up once again. We didn't know if it had really happened or if it was just another deception. Govan said this is where they put us in our own cell block. Finally, the warden came out, spoke to us. He cleared his throat and announced the government of South Africa and the African National Congress have come to an agreement where the ANC will renounce violence as a political tool. As part of this deal, the ANC will no longer be judged to be a violation of the Suppression of Communist Act, and the members will no longer be prosecuted for their crimes. At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, you will all be loaded in the ferry to Cape Town, where you will be released. Thank you. It was shocking, and we were unsure if this was truly happened. We spoke to the warden after the speech, who assured us that this was all true. Then, as we started to ask questions, everyone else could leave if their group signed a deal, said the warden. We were going to be leaving tomorrow. I asked him if I could have one of my releases delayed for my family to meet me when I got out, and if I could be transported near them and released there. The warden told me that transportation was our own prerogative. As for the delay, he said, Graf signed a deal and there's nothing to negotiate. You're leaving Robben Island, if you like it or not, and that was that. Nelson Mandela. Giant step on a long walk. 10% stability, 50 political power, which means I would like to prepare stay-behind forces. And I also probably would like to recon the northern borders once I have 6 political power, which I do. But I assume because I'm doing this, I cannot do 2 at the same time. Probably, but it doesn't actually say. Operation Ashagi. Operation Ashagi will consist in formation, financing, arming, and training of the Triggerman assets in covert resistant activities, including assassinations, political provocation, and disinformation. Small-scale operations may cover discrete areas and counter subversion of hosts, but larger cells stay behind vigilant, reacting to Crusader invasion of the fields. Sagi Asians will be supplied with arms and explosive caches, contents of Annex 2-A, to slow down Crusader troops from reaching Cape, while Torch prepares joint development. 20 political power. Thank you. So if I can't do any of this, I guess I might as well keep trying to invest into... I cannot do any more into Transvaal that I can see. Is there anyone who's close? 43, 43. You're never going to get there. So let's just do a little bit of campaigning in Cape. So it goes from 56 to... Still 56. Unless that changed before and I didn't realize it. Posters appear on the Cape. So how can I help you, man? Said, pulling out some paper of note. Packy's orders. I'll have some fish and chips along with some water, said Packy. Or stated Packy. Alright, fish and chips with water it is. Is that all? Yes, that's all. Alright then, he remarked the man. Returning to the back room, presumably to prepare his food. As he waited, Packy glanced over to the wall, noticing a multitude of posters plastered on the wall. Only the National Party can save you from the Black Demons. Vote for the National Party to help stamp out the colored menace. And watch out for these dark men. Place your trust in the National Party and safeguard yourself. Written on the posters, coupled with pictures of violent scenes of murder, theft, and rape. All containing shots of colored people. He eyed the photos, aghast at the imagery displayed. Ah, the good old NP, always preaching, stated the old man, who returned to Packy's food. They've always been a stir, convincing people that people like you should be kicked out of here. Their boys came into my shop and asked to plaster the propaganda, and I obliged. Doesn't mean I like them, though, chuckled the old man. So why do you allow them, then? Asked Packy. They pay me to post them here, and they pay good, scoffed the man. Either way, I hope that you at least tolerate me as your customer, replied Packy. Of course. You don't discriminate in business, noted the man. With that, Packy began to consume his food and reflected on his exchange with the white man. As Packy exited the shop, he waved to the owner, showing a sign of goodwill. As he trotted along the street leading to his house, he saw more posters of the same nature, which distressed him slightly. When he thought about the future, or his people's future for that matter, the NP weren't fond of his kind, so he didn't want to imagine what they'd do if they passed by him. He sighed, wished it would all be over soon, and he would soon enjoy his life peacefully. He hated to see his beloved Cape Town ruined by the National Party folks. And I imagine being happy anywhere else. Why is everything reduces support for the monarchy? I keep throwing points in here and they keep shooting me down. I'm just trying to have an honest referendum here. I've noticed that the amount of positive events is significantly less than the amount of negative events. I have no idea which one of these I actually want or need. Line artillery, anti-air, more anti-air upgrades. So I think we're fine ignoring this for now. Helicopter engines, transport helicopter companies. Like what is our army comprised of? Few motorized, a few mountaineers, and mostly infantry. Like we don't have any tanks. So there's no reason to research anything in tanks. I don't think we really have the industry to support that. Like, maybe we can make some anti-tank weapons. You know what? We actually have 3 mountaineering divisions. So, you know what? Let's upgrade you slightly. So. We get 500 units of infantry equipment. Well, we should have a lot. Yeah, we have 1.3 thousand. Without... Actually, no, we have some manpower. So, you know what? Let's train up, let's say, 3 divisions of infantry. For right now. Ban extremist armed organizations. Africans in the civil service. The Africans Rifle Regiment. 2 building like 2 building slots could be nice. Yes, I want to de-racialize education because I believe you are penalizing me a lot in stability right now. I'm going to de-racialize education. Going to give us... I mean, it's showing like negatives, like negative 0.07. Research speed goes down. But what is it like right now? Right now it's negative point. Like, it's an effective change of plus 0.07. It should actually display the effective change, not just the normal stats here. But this is only going to take about half a year to probably get down to 4 South Africa. But now you don't support the monarchy again. Only Natal. Natal is like the only place that I can trust here. don't know what you guys are doing. Intel network. The Intel network's not actually on this little map mode. So I actually have to click up here to use them. Keep building up your network. Get some information about what's happening in the wider world. Again, we have 36 diamonds. Let's develop some roads. And subsidize some farms, maybe. Yeah, you know, subsidize Transvaal farms. I'm assuming this has no impact on the referendum. Okay, so we have gotten the better education. Now, 2 civilian factories. Our GDP will receive a small boost. Lovely. Because we're getting further and further into debt. Okay, so we got some research. 2 slots. And again, we're kind of reaching a point where, you know what, let's just do like an air doctrine. Battlefield support. And, draw like 1965. I mean, it's 1963. But that's still like 2 years ahead of time. You know what? Support equipment. There we go. Seems good enough for us. The old new teacher. Neswi Mbeki was experiencing a lot of things in her 75 years of living in her village in the Eastern Cape. When she was born, South Africa was a colony. The First Boer War had just ended, and life in the village was going on as it always had. She witnessed the Second Boer War, the formation of the Union of South Africa, the First and Second World Wars, and all the events in between. In the meantime, her village changed with the addition of new wood homes, new schoolhouse with a generator, and more pressure on the residents, especially the younger ones, to forget their past and traditions and change their ways. Neswi has been living with her son's family ever since her husband passed away. Not content to sit around the living room and stare at the wall, she took to telling stories to the children of a household who were too young for school or to work. The children told her friends, and soon the village children were going to the house to listen to her stories. Stories of old Xena, heroes and legends, ones that she was told as a child. And the ones he was dismayed to find the young ones had a lacking of familiarity with. Then one day, while one of the white teachers in the village sought her out, he told her that the government had decided to start teaching Xhosa, Zulu, and various other native languages instead of just English and Afrikaans. This was due to the recent reforms to placate native groups. The only problem with this is that there was a lack of white teachers who could speak Xhosa. Necessity, the recruiting of elderly natives who could handle teaching duties. She fit the qualifications and she could speak and write English thanks to a missionary who once visited her village when she was a child. Would she consider becoming a language teacher in the village school? Now, Neswi was a Xhosa language teacher. She teaches children how to read and write in the language of her ancestors. She helps her son's family with extra source of income. And most importantly, she tells the children of the village the stories that she had been passed down for generations of Xhosa. Neswi was happy with the recent turn of events, and many other elderly natives in South Africa feel the same. Academic-based social development will begin to rapidly improve. That sounds pretty good. I like rapid improvement of education. And also training up more army, because we do need some more men in the field. Like, again, do I know how many men you guys have? 7-18, 4-13. Like, if it was a one-on-one with any of these 3 guys, we would, I think, be able to become out victorious. It's just a combination of all 3, which has its problems. I believe there's a way for these 3 guys to end up fighting each other. Like, they disagree on some ideas, and they kind of fight. Of course, that would be the best case scenario. Yeah, let's... Africans in the civil service. We'll get a little bit more recruitable manpower from that. 54 political power takes. Don't think it's enough to really do too much. Getting 5 diamonds. Yeah, because the Americans will like us a lot if we just kind of end trade with them. A message for the movie star. Mr. Bratzelli, are you there? Asked the man who on the other end of the phone line. They told me that you were off filming a movie. Where were you? Well, yes, Mr. Schwartz, I was. Said, Magashithu Buthejli, Chieftain of the Zulu Nation, is a film about the Battle of Rogue's Rift. I am playing as my great-grandfather, King Chisamaro. They are making me stand around with a bunch of extras out here near the amphitheater, so what's the matter? I've been talking to the party leadership in Cape Town, said Harry Swartz, leader of the United Party in Transvaal. It's been a while, and we want to know if you'd make a decision on your proposal yet. Vizeli took a deep breath and said, you know, I'm thinking I'll do it. I've always wanted to do Korean politics, and I'm glad the United Party, capital A, thinks the same way. I'll run as a candidate in the upcoming elections, and I'm honored that you would make me the first Native Unity Party candidate. You're welcome, Mr. Vizeli. We're glad that you hear that you will stand for us. Your goals and ours align, and you'll be welcome in our ranks. Although technically you aren't the first African candidate, King Prati Kama is going to run up in Bruceland. We just learned that this morning. Wesley laughed. It figures that he'd do that. He definitely hates the Germans enough to join you. But that's all right. I'm happy with being second, and hopefully he gets elected so I don't feel alone in Cape Town. I hope so too. I'll tell Cape Town the good news. Good luck. And if it doesn't work out, you still have a movie career to fall back on. So we get 10% more popular. Every day we're getting a little bit more and more popular. But I think this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is Anthem. If you've enjoyed, remember thumbs up. Not enjoy, you can always thumb down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.